when I last spoke to you back in 2002, your plan was to have the album out later that year, so obviously there were some delays?
Yeah, well, the first one took me forever, and I don't know why I was thinking the second one wouldn't take long. We just, it's funny, I don't even know what stopped it, but we sort of started again, and then we stopped. Gee, honestly, I'm trying to think if there was sort of one thing that sort of got in its way, and I don't think there was.
Just a series of events.
Yeah, and I'm actually grateful because I ended up writing more things, and it just sort of took longer than we thought. So, it's kidding because I'd like to have another album out, and I've already been thinking, I gotta wait a little while. My enthusiasm has to kind of have a reality check, so.
So what about the recording process itself? What period of time does that cover?
Well, we did start it. I'm thinking we actually started it in 2002, and we did some recording in Memphis, which is kind of where we started my first CD, Song Food, too. It's like we always seem to start in Memphis. And then we kind of pulled back, and we did a little recording in Los Angeles. Then we sort of stopped, and I think it was the holidays, and I can't even remember the time frame, but we, it got recorded in fits and starts, and we ended up, do you know of a duo called Lowen and Navarro?
The name rings a bell, yeah.
Yeah, well, I had asked them, because they're such wonderful vocalists, for a suggestion of a studio, and we kind of got a little more serious in Los Angeles. We also moved about a little over a year and a half ago, and that was just uprooting ourselves was an amazing thing. So we moved in 2004, and we'd done some recording, but we sort of, like I said, fits and starts.
So I guess that also explains why there were quite a few different studios credited on the album.
Oh my God. Kind of embarrassing, but it's true. Yeah, we just sort of did it kind of when we could, and I got a little job in 2003 it's a theater thing that I'd done before, where I got to do a bunch of Paul Simon songs and music at a theater. So that sort of stops things, and I don't know, life gets in the way. moving was a big thing.
Oh yes, yeah, that can change a lot of things.
Oh my God. But I'm glad we got to move. I'm really grateful to be in Northern California. It's a very different planet up here. So.
Yeah.
Have you been here?
No, I haven't. I'd love to, though.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Well, it's a city by the bay, and it's lovely. So.
Things you wanted to do differently to this album in comparison to when you recorded Song Food?
I wanted to take a little more time with the vocals, because I feel like that was something that, it's funny, I don't know, I just wanted to take a little more time, and the first time around I felt very sort of nervous about everything, and I wanted everything to, everyone to be happy with what they were doing, and other musicians to be happy with their parts, and I kind of, sometimes I feel like I was like, oh, and we'll just sing, and I wanted to spend a little more time on the vocals, which I feel like I did this time around, and I'm glad, because I just felt a little, I don't know, the second time was different in that it just, I don't know, I wasn't as, I don't know, it wasn't, there was so much on top of the first one, because I'd been wanting to do it, 10, 15 years, literally, and I never thought I would. So the second one, I was like, it just felt, in a way, it was a little bit easier, and I'm glad, I wanted to focus a little bit, I wanted to make sure the vocals didn't get, like they were the last thing.
Yeah. More of your own songs this time, so can you feel yourself growing in confidence as a writer now? I really hope so. I like writing, but I haven't written anything for a few months, and I'm sort of thinking that but I'm kind of missing it, and I can feel sort of percolating, just ideas and stuff, and I've been writing, sentences, but not
not really stringing them together into anything. But I have just one guy I worked with. I've worked a little bit with him, and I saw him this fall because I was in another show with him, and of music of the Weavers, actually, which was a really cool thing. Another little theater production. So, I showed him a few ideas, and we bounced stuff back and forth. But yeah, I hope, I like writing. I'm not a real nose to the grindstone person, and I'm easily distracted. So I feel like my nose goes to the grindstone, but then I go, hey, look over there. That needs to, I need to work on that too. And so honestly, I try to go away to write, and even a few days at a time really is a helpful thing. So I'm always kind of wanting to do that. I'm pretty distracted by my visual surroundings and stuff like that. So
you gave credit on the album to some songwriting classes you took with Peter Case, which I remember you mentioning last time we spoke. Those classes obviously made a lasting impression on you.
They really did. I mean, he really was a great sort of spirit. Kind of shined a light for me on, I don't know, just it was okay that, I honestly, Judd, I thought I have never had anything to say and who would care, and I really had and now it's like, it's okay. I kind of there's a few people along the way that in a way sort of granted me permission unbeknownst to them, and Peter Case was one of them. There's a guy who ran an amazing folk festival in Texas called the Kerrville Folk Festival.
Oh, yeah.
And he, oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Rod Kennedy, is that his name? I got into the folk festival's songwriting contest once, and he gave this amazing sort of welcoming speech, and he really lit a light for me too. I thought, I have to take those thoughts of not having anything to say and who would care, and just put them over there, because they're just part of me and my critical voice. But it's okay to just. It's creative. It's me and my creativity, and I'm just going to let it. I'm going to try and find a place for it. So yeah, Peter Case was very helpful, unbeknownst to him.
Do you feel more personally attached to this record, considering that you had a bigger hand in the songwriting?
Yes and no. I felt very personally attached to the other one too, just because it was such a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
And I really felt like, oh my gosh, this is not on a piece of paper anymore. I'd like to, learn how to bake bread and learn to speak Spanish and make a record. And, it's like I have the record now. And so just differently. I feel grateful that there's more songs I wrote and was a part of writing on it. I'm really grateful for that. Yeah.
There is one song on there which is obviously quite personal for you, which is dedicated to your mother, I believe.
Yeah, the song "Just Like You." That's funny. That's a hard song, but I feel like I wrote so few of them. I just have to put everything I wrote on the record.
Was it difficult to tackle a subject matter like that in song?
You know what? That song literally came. Well, 85% of it came out of the blue. While I was taking a shower at a Folk Alliance conference, and I made myself get out of the shower because I knew that it wasn't going to stick around.
Yeah.
I don't trust my memory very much. It's just I've noticed this the last couple of weeks. There's some things I didn't write down, and already I'm like, oh, you know better than that. Stop what you're doing and write them down. And that one literally was like a bolt of something. And I honestly, I had soap in my hair, and I was staying in a hotel, and I wrapped towels around me, and I made myself write it down.
Wow.
And I literally, I'm going to say 80 to 85% of it just came through in one felt swoop. And then I worked on it some too. But the music came pretty much at once too. And I'm really glad I wrote that song. And I was hoping to write something more hopeful, but I've had people sort of say to me, "Oh no, I'm scared too."
Yeah, so. It's a very strong piece of writing.
Oh, thank you. And I wanted it to sort of rock as much as I can. I don't know. And I'm really grateful for the way it came out too.
Did you have to think hard specifically about where to place a song like that on the record in terms of its sequencing or around the other tracks?
I felt it needed to be. I think it's a little farther in to the record, as I recall. I don't listen to it. I have, but I haven't listened to it lately.
It's a little past halfway, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was thought out. I mean, Bruce and I played with sequencing a lot, and I think it was, it didn't need to be very in the end. It seems in the right place to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in the beginning and not all in the end. Often end with that song "Stars," and I wanted to end with that. It just always feels like the ending to me. So that's why, and that was very purposefully put there. So. But just like you was, yeah, I think it got its right place.
Now, once again, you haven't been afraid to take on the classics and cover them. Last time it was Smokey Robinson, this time Bob Dylan. What was the inspiration behind a fantastic bluegrass version of a great Dylan song?
Thank you so much. That's another one. I love Nashville Skyline. That was just one of my favorite records. And I don't know if I started listening to it again, and for some reason I just heard it differently. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just like I went, I think you could actually speed it up, because I don't think I changed the chords or anything. But I just thought, we've been playing with some bluegrass friends too. We have these great friends that played on the CD, Eric Lewis and Andy Ratliff, and they played on the first CD as well. And they both live. Eric lives in Memphis, and Andy lives actually just over the border in Mississippi. And they actually do a brother duo thing that's just phenomenal. They're just incredible singers, and the kind of players that just make you get up and literally stand up and start hollering and clapping because they're so amazing. And I just thought it would be really fun to sort of be able to play something like that with them. So yeah. Just like you, feels like the most rocky one of them, and I really wanted it to sound like, I kept thinking in my head, I want it to sound like a buzzsaw. I just want it to sound like it's like just sort of painful almost, and I'm happy with that. And but I don't know. I still like a lot of kinds of sounds. So I don't know. I wanted to sort of play with a lot of them. There's a song that didn't get on the record, and it really stood out like a sore thumb. And it was, but I'm really pleased with it. And it's what made me. I kind of want to make a swing record next. I want to swing some stuff that hasn't been swung, perhaps, and just some other things. I have original that this lovely gentleman I met on a train wrote. His name's Rock Hillman, and I think he's 92, and he wrote a song called "I Ain't at Home on the Range," and it's a tongue-in-cheek thing that he wrote in like the 40s. And so there's one of the songs is really swingy, and that one didn't get on. I kind of went, oh my goodness, this needs a whole record like this. So that was really about as un-rock and roll as I got, but that one stood out a little. So I'm gonna have to save that for another time. But
I actually came across a copy of an old CD of your past band Maggie's Farm the other day, which I hadn't heard before, and so obviously a rockier sound is not something that's strange to you.
No. I really, oh boy, was that a fun band too. And man, that was some of the most fun singing I've done. I loved singing with her. We just had a really good, thing going. I love singing harmonies, so yeah, that was a pretty rockin' band. That was, yep. And I had different clothes, and
I didn't recognize you actually. Yeah. A lot of the musicians from Song Food made a reappearance on this album. Obviously a huge advantage to play with people that you've already established a good working relationship with.
Yeah, I felt very lucky. Deborah Dobkin, she's the percussionist, and she's just phenomenal. And she has the most supportive spirit. It's just unbelievable. And Carl Byron, who's the keyboard player, and he really, produced some stuff with us too. We couldn't have done this record without him. He was invaluable and talented and speaks the language of music, which I don't speak. So he was able to. He actually found us some awesome musicians, the people that played on "Oh California" and White Cross, and "He Ain't Coming Back." Well, that's pretty rocky too. I forgot about that. That's so yes, I'm happy to have that family around me.
Tell us about some of the newer players though that didn't appear on the last record.
Well, some of the players that Carl brought. Joey Zimmerman, he's an amazing bass player, and I mean, we literally spent I think it was 1 day or 2 days tracking with, maybe just 1 day, and he just was amazing. And Dave Raven is a drummer that played the same sessions, and boy, who else? My friend Scott Wakefield, he actually, the beginning of Stars was something he and I did in 2003. We were both in this theater piece together, and the very last night, I think it was the night before the last show, and he was sick as a dog, and I took him to this beautiful studio up there in this little tiny town in Wisconsin at about 11 o'clock at night, and he recorded for me, which was just such a gift, because he was so sick. I thought he was going to die. I thought I was killing him, dragging him out there. But to play it so late at night after we'd performed 2 shows, it was so many great people. Oh, and Dwayne Jarvis, he's a great guitar player. Wow. I got lucky. I really did.
Looking at some of the songwriters on the album, what can you tell us about Kyle Johnson, who did the title track?
You know what? I swear, I heard that song. I gotta say, I heard that song 15 years ago in a little tiny record store. He's remarkable, and he lives in New Mexico, in a small town in New Mexico now. But I heard him play that song live at a tiny little record store that used to do shows out in the San Fernando Valley, and he was phenomenal. And I thought, I have to learn that song. I think that's one of the best songs ever written. It's a perfect song. And Carl Byron is friends with him still, but we haven't seen him in many years. He has an interesting bit of trivia, which is his mother was the original Lieutenant Uhura on Star Trek.
Ah.
Her name is Nichelle Nichols, and I think she's a marvelous singer too, and so the apple didn't fall far from the tree. She's a great singer and a great writer. But I heard it so long ago. It just took me 15 years to learn.
Just looking through the liner notes of the CD as well, I'm curious to know why you've given credit to anyone in Boston named Joe.
We've just met, we have a really lovely couple of friends. Actually, three friends named Joe, if not more, in Boston, so we just wanted to thank them all. They're just people we've met in our travels and become friends with. And one woman's husband, she puts on a lovely just concert series that's been going on about 19 years, and her husband's named Joe. So.
Tell us about one of the songs on the album, "Oh California."
Oh yeah, that's one of those ones I went away and I got to stay at my in-laws for about 3 days before they'd moved into their house, and I was sort of just got a little time there, and that one started there. And I've always sort of felt like I have a love-hate relationship with this place. I like Northern California better than Southern California, but I really spent all my life in Southern California, and I just used to think I was born in the wrong place. And now I feel, I like it better because we've been able to travel, and so I have a different perspective on it now. But that is a very bluegrass track.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's really, we had an amazing fiddle player and banjo player, Cliff Wagner. He's got God, he was phenomenal, I have to say. Again, came in and just was done in an hour and a half, and it was so fabulous. So he's got a band too called Old Number 7 in Southern California. So.
Ah, you're right. That rings a bell, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're listed here as doing co-production with Bruce on this one. What was the extent of your involvement with the production?
Well, we both sort of just. I don't know. We hired some of the people, and I thought about arrangements, and just kind of. I don't know. It was a little bit different. We felt a little more hands-on. Bruce recorded some of the stuff in our living room, actually, and in a little space we had in our old house in Southern California. So we were just. I think that's why it took so long too, because it wasn't really somebody running the show, which is really helpful. I mean, I understand why there are producers. They are essential, and it was difficult to do it. It's just a lot of decisions, and I don't make them very easily anyway. So, there's, I don't know. I feel like took a lot of work to make it happen, but and I can't even name the work, really. It's just. Remember, there was one point where all of a sudden I realized we were sort of past the really hard part, and it was a good feeling.
Yeah.
So we mixed it at the same studio in Wisconsin, and that was great. That was really wonderful. His name's Hans Christian, and he lives in this little tiny, lovely town up in on a peninsula in Wisconsin, and he really sort of. A week with Hans, and we mixed it, and it was just all of a sudden it was like, oh, here it is. Here's this record.
Now, you touched on it earlier, and I'd love to find out more about the recent show you did paying tribute to the Weavers.
Oh, that's so much fun. It's a theater that I've been involved with a few times called American Folklore Theater, and in the summer they do sort of regional, original plays in a huge theater, in about 600-seat theater in a state park on a lovely, lovely peninsula that sticks out into Lake Michigan. And in the fall, they do it. They go inside to some little town halls, and they do sort of more of a concert series. And I've been in one about Paul Simon called Old Friends. I've actually done that 3 times. And my brother-in-law, Bruce's brother, is often the music director for these, and this time he knew the people he wanted. I'd worked with all the people before, 3 guys that I'd worked with in Old Friends, and that I knew. Eric Lewis, the guy on my CD, was one of them, and my brother-in-law said, "Ooh, I want this. I want these 4 people," and it was called Goodnight Irene, and they'd actually done it before about 9 years ago, and they just brought it back, and it was so much fun. It was 23 songs by the Weavers with some history, kind of a narrative history. Like I was the only woman, but I didn't really play Ronnie Gilbert. I was just the only, woman.
Yeah.
And it was really wonderful, really tight parts, and amazing. Those guys are amazing players. And I got to play a drum, and I got to play some percussion, which is always fun for me, and I don't do that very often. So it was great. And it ran for, 7 weeks, and hopefully they'll do it again. And
that's an excellent run, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It was really nice. It's because it was a theater piece, and sold, lots of sold-out nights, and in the smaller theater that held about 200 people. So it was really, really lovely opportunity to learn some songs that I'd always heard, but kind of they were in my in my memory.
Yeah.
And but I'd never really learned all of them. Like, oh boy, we did If I Had a Hammer, and it was just an amazing version. So, but because it was an equity thing, we couldn't tape it.
Oh, really?
So they make one archival video.
Yeah, and that's it.
I actually got one. I got the guys to come record one song, because I'm thinking of putting it on the swing record, because we did Rock Island Line.
Oh, wow.
Real swingy. So but I don't know if that'll really see the light of day. That was a lot of fun.
So album number 3 is going to be a swing record? That's your plan at this stage?
Unless I start writing some other stuff. I have a couple of other ideas, but boy, I'd like to sort of have the swing record happen kind of fast. If it does, I'd probably go to Memphis and work with Eric again. And, you know, he knows great players. There's a guy named Todd Cook on this last record. He was just amazing. And he's very kind of swing bluegrass oriented. And so I would love it. I would love to have a swing record. But I'd love to, who knows? Wow. I honestly didn't think I'd have two. So anything else at this point is gravy. Gravy that hopefully I will make.
No, congratulations on a fantastic CD. It really is a treat and well worth the wait.
Well, thanks. Gosh. Thank you. Those are very kind words, John. I thank you so much. And I hope to come to your part of the world someday.
That would be fantastic, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey, now can I tell you a funny thing?
Please do.
I don't know. I have not seen this on television yet, but somebody told me they saw it, and I actually went online and saw it. I was able to just click on a link, but my father sang a Teddy Bear's Picnic in the early 30s.
That's right, yeah.
BBC, and apparently there's an Xbox commercial out there on TV where there's a giant, very sort of strange water balloon fight, and my father's singing the song over it. And my cousin has seen it on television, and I just went to the website and saw it yesterday. I couldn't believe it's very bizarre because it's a very sort of cinematic and strangely visual commercial, but my father's singing.
Wouldn't he love to know that?
I know. It just cracked me up, and I'd love to somehow put a couple of his songs on the swing record. So, and maybe figure out a way to sing along like Natalie Cole did with Nat King Cole.
Ah, yes, yeah.
I would love to. I don't know if it's kind of silly, but it would be a lot of fun.
Well, it's certainly possible anyway.
Yeah.
Technology the way it is, that'd be fantastic.
It's crazy, I know.
Claudia, thanks again. It's been a treat to catch up with you once again.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for calling and talking. I love it. And
good luck with your cat. I'm sure he's just hiding away from the rain somewhere.
Gosh, I hope so, yeah. Has it been raining long there where you are?
Just started this morning after we've had a pretty hot spell the last few days, so it looks like it's set in for a while, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the same here. They said that it's going to be a very wet winter here, but that's probably a good thing, except now I have to get in my car and go to work. I hope people show up for his show. I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they will, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's wonderful. So, well, come visit. If you ever come to Berkeley, you're invited.
Oh, you'll never get rid of me.
Well, we like to say we take people on the Bakeries of Berkeley tour, because I have to say there are some fabulous bakeries up here, and we have room. We have a guest room and a bathroom, so a spare bathroom. You'd be welcome.
That sounds great.
I know it's a big commitment to travel that far, but
you may regret saying that one day.
No.
Thanks a lot, Claudia.
Always welcome. John, thank you.
Thank you. Pass my best on to Bruce as well.
I will do that. Take care.
Okay, we'll speak soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.